really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard.
Which is what, seriously speaking, is all about. On the show today, we shall be talking about etiquette. Does this sound like something that you've heard before or something that you think others should do and not you? Well, a recent experience has made it imperative that we deal with this subject today. A young woman walks into a hotel to book, and there's somebody standing right there, and the next thing she cuts in front of him, and she's trying to get a conversation across with the person on the other side. And the gentleman, who is Oyinbo, of course, says, Nigerians don't have etiquette. They don't recognize personal space. And then that person wrote a letter to us that, please, what is etiquette? Fortunately for me, I know two people who are big on this. One started out here in Nigeria 16 years ago. The other person started out in Kenya 6 years ago. Now, these are the authorities around these spots now when it comes to etiquette. We shall be talking with them on the show in a short while. Welcome. Yes, welcome back. I mean, one of the things that I do is that I walk around without my glasses, but I can't read without them. Now, I can pretend all I want that I can see, but I certainly can't read. So I think that is good etiquette. Janet?
Yes.
You know how to bring you in that way. You know, there's no point pretending to be who you are not.
Not with glasses anyway.
You know, because I had to read this. I mean, your corporate profile is right here, GSK Etiquette. That's the name of your company. But I think etiquette is with you as a person.
Yes.
Because, you know, it was people looking at you and saying, Janet, why are you the way you are? By the way, my guest is Janet Adetu. It's nice to have you on Seriously
You're
Speaking.
most welcome, thank you.
And to think I just gave you a call and said, hey, you're a subscriber to TW, aren't you? You must be on the show to talk. Did you find it strange that I...
No, I found it very warm and welcoming.
Oh, thank you.
Because it opened up the conversation. Mm-hmm. Because you said, it looks as if you appreciated the fact that I was a subscriber. And then you went right into the conversation. So
that's
I felt...
one trick, huh?
Absolutely. It was very warm and welcome. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's nice to know. Now, I find it interesting because you're originally an accountant.
Yes.
So how did, talking etiquette and teaching etiquette come about?
You know, it's really about you. Because etiquette has everything to do with your own personality. Mm-hmm. It's inbuilt in you. And I always use the word protocol, actually, because the conduct, your behavior.
Conduct?
Yes, the way you behave. And a lot of it stems from, actually, your upbringing, your exposure, your level of education. All of those things actually cultivate you into the person who you are as an adult. And I guess for me, yes, I am a chartered accountant. I still am. And I did practice for quite a while. But I felt that there were other things that... It became mundane for me. I was an auditor, and I thought, this is too boring. There's more to life than this. And I think for me, I have a philosophy. My philosophy is really, actually, to add value to other people. It just comes naturally. So I believe there were things that I used to do. I love entertaining a lot. And people used to say, well, the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I dress, the way I lay the table, it's very different. And in all honesty, I had no idea I did anything different.
There was a name for it?
No, I had no idea. And I just felt, okay. So people said, you do things this way. And then I found myself teaching people the way I do it for free, for nothing. I mean, it comes naturally. Do you want to know how to do it? This is how to do it. And then later on, when I felt, after my husband and I being expatriates for like 19 years.
19 years
yes,
from Nigeria?
Going around all over the place by the virtue of his job, of course. I then got to a point where I said, you know what, I really want to do something that I can sustain, because moving up and down, I didn't know where we're going to be next 3 or 4 years.
That was sacrifice, wasn't it? You could have just said, I'm staying here, you go around.
Yeah, of course, naturally. But I felt, there were some things I felt that were in me that I hadn't exerted. You know when they say, find your passion? I think I found my passion there without knowing that it was something I could make use of. I just knew that by nature, I just like doing certain things. I love gardening and all of that. But I got to a point where I said, this is an epiphany for me. I would like to do something that I can say it's self-satisfying, and at the same time, I'm giving, adding
Something
value.
back to
I'm
someone
giving
else.
something back to someone else.
I'll take a break at this point in time, and I'll get to meet the other half of my guest today, situating what etiquette really is all about before we begin to give you all those tips that you want. My next guest is Ukinebo, and Ukinebo I met maybe about 15 or 16 years ago when her mom was starting poise finishing school. That was when she thought etiquette was important. Now today, Ukinebo is doing something along that line, running the Postgraduate Academy of Poise. Am I right, Ukinebo?
Yes, the
It's nice to have
Poise
you.
Graduate Finishing Academy.
Poise Graduate
Thank you
Finishing
very
Academy.
much.
It's nice to have you here.
Thank you very
Now,
much.
I decided to invite you because I don't know why you told the line that your mom did. Was it because she pulled you out to those early days, all those early teen activities?
Well, the truth is, when I was working at Poise as a teenager, I never thought I would
And that was
come
mom
back
trying
work
to
at
save,
Poise.
of course, okay.
Let her just come and work with me, exactly. No, but because the Graduate Finishing Academy is very much in line with what I'm passionate about. We're teaching graduates etiquette, but we're also teaching them everything about soft skills, and we're helping them get jobs. So for me, that was something, because it was something new. I love things that are creative. I love to create things. So because it was something Poise wasn't doing yet, but the need was there. I mean, the need to help graduates get jobs, but before helping them get jobs, making sure they are well prepared with all the skills that are required. So
I can see graduates' ears perking up young people's ears perking up as they hear this.
Yes.
But what I find interesting, recently you do some kind of CSR as well. There's a young man who did very well in school and you offered him...
Yes. The young man who got the 5.0 GPA, yes, we offered him a scholarship to take the Graduate Finishing Academy program because one major thing we're about is your academic skills are good, but then your soft skills have to push those academic skills further because a lot of times employers want to employ people who are both intelligent and then have the right attitude, the right ability to manage their boss and know how an office should run. So we also gave a scholarship, part scholarship to Olajumoke as well. For the grammar, just to help her with her English grammar and her polishing.
She has no English at all.
Yes, that's why we're trying to teach her grammar. Hers is going to be really basic.
A for apple.
Yes, basics of English, so she can at least communicate a bit easier, and then also for her poise and all of those things.
Well, how do you draw the line between etiquette, and just being who you are?
Okay. Yes, there's something we always say that a person of honor doesn't need to hide behind a facade. So people, when they think of etiquette, they always feel like, so I now have to be this controlled and, hide myself. But it's about being the best version of yourself. So it's about not just saying things, but making sure that what you're really trying to say is heard, how you're communicating. It's about integrity. So expressing what's already within. So different personalities still shine through, even though everybody's being considerate, because etiquette is simply being considerate about the other person.
Okay, I must take a break so I can have the two experts talk about etiquette. And I also would like to introduce to the audience an example of somebody that has experienced what you're talking about here for the younger ones. Because the truth is, we feel, because most things we wonder, I don't have the money for it. It's the need that's more important. And if you have the need, it's best to go to the experts. I'll be returning with Janet and Ukinebo in a short while. Yes, welcome back. This time, this is the live class, live on set. And I'm going to give my etiquette experts 3 minutes each to give us speed training. Of course, you can find them online, JSK and Poise. But speed training, I'll start with JSK. Speed training. I want to have what you promised me, life skills, image, and etiquette. How do we link all of that together?
Oh, very easily. I mean, like I said before, when it comes to etiquette itself, let's define 3 main things so that you can understand it very well. When it comes to manners, manners are what we ought to do. We should do it. Somebody comes to you and greets you, automatically, if it's a business setting, you ought to shake that person's hand. Etiquette means how
depend on what part of
to do it.
Nigeria
It depends. I said a business environment. I'm just giving you an example. If it's a business environment, it depends. It's a universal greeting.
Okay, tell me, does the woman stretch her hands out first, or?
That's the bone of contention we have in Nigeria. Yeah. Most times people think that a woman should stretch out first, but in a business setting, it is gender neutral. So it doesn't matter who
Depends on
stretches out their
who's,
hand first. But having said that, we also like to consider culture. So we don't throw culture out of the window. We tend to imbibe culture even when we're talking about etiquette. So I now said etiquette means how do you do it? So manners means you ought to do it. Etiquette means how to do it. And protocol means when to do it.
Oh, really? There's a difference, eh?
Yes.
So that's where also knowledge about where you are going to perform whatever manner.
Yes, so we're meeting for the very first time.
Yes.
Ideally, we ought to say hello to each other. That's manners. We're not going to look at each other. And then etiquette is it morning, is it evening, is it afternoon? So depending on what time of the day it is, we would say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That's the etiquette of it. And the protocol is when. So we should say it immediately we see each other, not 5 hours later.
Okay, I mean, that's actually speed. So it's how you conduct yourself.
Absolutely. And it's all about packaging yourself the way you want people to perceive you.
I agree with what she said.
Obviously,
the major, of course. So, but the major thing about etiquette is to always remember that it's about consideration for others. So the key theme is that is a quote by Robert Kiyosaki that says, "The response you get is your true communication." So I was trying to be nice, but in trying to be nice, I made you feel uncomfortable. Like, why are you in my personal space?
So define personal space.
Okay, your personal space, when you stretch out your arms.
Distance, yes.
Show me. How far?
This is my
By the
personal
way, when you
space.
say personal space, you also have to identify intimate space.
Exactly.
So intimate space is, it's like within 6
We are
inches.
intimate right now.
When I'm in your face.
But we're not facing each other.
I've
As
entered
if
your
we're side
intimate
by
space.
side. Yeah.
But ideally, you need about, just a few feet, 3-4 feet away from the person.
So that thing about walking to somebody and
personal
just
space.
speaking in the person's
No,
face.
you've entered their intimate space, and that is actually intrusive. It's quite intrusive.
Say thank you, Ukinebo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Babatobi. And thank you, Janet,
You're
for
most
being
welcome.
with us. And
Thank
all the
you.
best
Thank
as
you
we
very
help to
much.
change the way Nigerians behave.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.